Hey guys, welcome back to OK Jank. I'm bringing you today a premium Cardfight Vanguard deck profile. It's going to be for the Genesis clan, one of my favourite clans in the game. This deck profile is actually taken from Fat Tony Gaming, who's got a Vanguard channel on YouTube. It's one of my favourites. He seems to love Genesis as much as I do. I don't think at the time of recording this that he's actually put up his deck list for this deck, but I recommend you go check him out. He's got some gameplay with it, so you'll see how the deck's supposed to work. So I'm going to start with the G-Zone, because that's the win con, which is often the case with premium decks. So start running 4 copies of Complete Beauty Amruda Ampharos. It's got the Revelation on the Vanguard, and then counterblast 1, flip a card face up from your G-Zone. One of your rear guards gets 10,000 power and a crit, and if your soul has 4 or less cards, you draw 2 and soul charge 5. That's really good with some of the stuff in the V series now. And then also at the end of the battle it attacks, you can soul blast 15 to stand one of your rear guards, and then until end of turn your opponent can't call sentinels from hand. It's really good. The only guard restrict really that Genesis has ever had. So that's how you're planning to win that. You go into that first stride and second stride. You're not really going to get it off more than that, but there's a couple of extra copies just as flip fodder. Or if you do somehow manage to, then I've got 2 copies of Vanagander. He's the original threat for Genesis. It's GB2, so it's a little bit slower. And then you soul blast 6, choose a face down card with this name from your G-Zone, turn it face up, and when it attacks a Vanguard, and then at the beginning of the drive step, so after your opponent has guarded, you look at the top 4 cards of your deck, put them on top or bottom in any order as you want, so it increases your chances of hitting triggers. So just 2 copies of that, for if you're not going to get another third ride on Amaruda, you go into that because you should easily be able to build enough soul to do that. And just into the G guards, because this is the important bits. 2 Goddess of 7 colours Iris, just when placed on the Guardian Circle, you put 3 cards from drop zone into your soul, and if 3 cards are put, it gains 5k. So it's only 20k shield, but it just fuels your soul, again, without any kind of restrictions. And then the next is 2 copies of Ultimate Regalia of Affection Air, which is when placed on the Guardian Circle, choose 4 cards from your drop zone with different grades and put them into your soul. If you put 2 or more, it gets 5k, and then if you put 4 cards, it gets 10k. I believe the way it works is that it's 30k shields overall. That's how I've been playing it at my locals, and how I played it in G, and there weren't any, I never got called upon it, so I would just check the rulings before you go into any tournaments with this, just to be clear on that, because I know there's been a lot of clarification on some of the rulings in Premium since I really last played it competitively, so just double check that. But either way, 4 cards into soul for extra shield value is really good. Then I've got 1 copy of Ultima. He just search your deck for 2 units, and call them, and then you can put another 2 cards from your deck on top of your deck, so it allows you to stack the deck a little bit, stands and crits, etc. Multiple, couple of extra attacks, and 2 units when you've opponent will start targeting your rear guards in Genesis because we rely a lot on them. So 1 Ultima, and then I've got an Agnos just for the slower games. You could easily remove this for another copy of Ishtar, which I'm running 3 of. Flip fodder and then ride into it. Not really running Revelation, but added power, and the Revelation on place, and then I've got 1 copy of Muspel just because it's power and another draw potentially, so useful. So then the starter I'm running is the V-Series ride and draw one. It's the best. It keeps it in soul and gives you a card, and you're not going to lose it to something that retires with the 4 like you would with a 4 and a 1. Then I'm running 4 Gleaming Lord Uranus. When you've got 5 or more, you get force markers on the Vanguard, you get an Astral Plane. Not really bothered by that. And then when placed, you can Soul Blast 2 and get an Madrigal Force. So 2 force markers on your first grade 3 ride, if that's your first grade 3 ride. Then backup grade 3 is 3 copies of Perseus Probity. When it attacks a Vanguard, whilst this is on Vanguard or Rearguard, you draw 2 and then put a card from your hand into your soul. So filters your deck, filters your hand and your deck a little bit, and just build some soul. So it's really good. And then I've got 1 copy of Spiritualized Sorceress, Crote. Not the right target, but when placed, you can soul charge 1 for each of your units. So with a full field, you're soul charging 6, which is really good. Then, because you want to apply pressure in Premium, I've got 4 copies of Battle Maiden Mitsuki. Just when placed, Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, draw a card, and get a force marker on the Vanguard. So early pressure for big strides later on. And a draw is really good for your grade 2 ride. Then this next card, you could swap out for the Promo Wiseman. I don't have any copies of that myself at the moment, but we're running 4 Prometheus of Dancing Lights. Just when placed, you look at the top 2, put 1 on top of your deck and 1 into the soul, and then when it attacks and points Vanguard grade 3 or greater, your Vanguard and this unit gain 5,000 power, so a little bit of extra power, and the pseudo revelation of allowing you to put potentially a trigger back on top of your deck for the Amaruda Stride turn, when you've already given power and crit, and then you're going to have guard restricts as well. It's really good. Then 4 copies of Battle Maiden Sahime, just because I didn't like this in Standard, because she was soul blasting 2 and you were wanting to keep your soul, but in this, because you get benefit off the Amaruda having less soul, and this filters deck and filters your soul, is just great, and it gives an aggressive pet play as well with the extra power it gains. So 4 of this. You could run Sawahime, the Counter Blast, and reduce the Soul Blast grade 2. That would work just as well. You lose out on the draw and potentially the power, but you have a greater base power on it for your rearguard turns, and it reduces the Soul Blast then that you need for the Amaruda skill on the Stride unit. Then I've got 4 Atlas of Heavenly Sphere. Just don't mind riding it for an additional soul charge, and then it filters itself into soul to draw you a card and get you a force marker, so bigger numbers when you're swinging. Then I've got 3 Witch Cumin, just because then you can bounce dancing lights, and you can bounce Mikirime, who's coming up, and you can put stand triggers and taros, which are the stand triggers, from drop back into the soul. So then I've got 4 Battle Maiden Mikirime. This is the Soul Blast reduction one. You could reduce this and fiddle around with some numbers to add in the grade 2 one, but as you'll see, I'm running another source of Soul Blast reduction, which is 2 copies of Swadley of Loving Auspices. It's just when placed, you can rest this unit, and then until end of turn, your Vanguard gets 10,000 power, and your next time your Soul Blast is reduced by 2. So again, gives power to your Vanguard to push for threat and get some damage through, hopefully, because you want to push your opponent for as much damage early game so that they have to guard and drop all the hand when you go into Amaruda, and then if they do survive, you've got more chance of them struggling to build the hand back up on their one turn, and then you go into Amaruda again. So then we're running 4 of the V-Series heals, running 4 taros, because taros, when they get soul blasted, restand things. So with you soul blasting so much for the Amaruda, you refill a board if you've got more of that. Then running 4 of the Tablet Angel, which is the Premium Collection crit, the GB1. When your Vanguard attacks, it goes into soul, you draw a card, and your Vanguard gets 10,000 power. Extra power onto your Vanguard, and a draw, and it goes into soul in the combat step, so which is before you soul blast for the Amaruda skill. Then I'm running 2 of the draw PGs. I only have the 1 out of any of my decks that are currently built, so I've just filled it in with a normal one, but it will be a draw PG. You don't really want to run any more PGs or any more draw. Well, you can run 4 draw. If you do run 4 draw, I recommend just doing the 2 PGs and then 2 normal draws. You could even run some of the old G-Series ones that you can then put into soul to give something power, because defensively they're the same. It's only when you get a draw trigger aggressively that you lose out. You're running the G ones. And then I'm running 2 Dreaming Dragon, which are the ones that you could potentially swap out for more draw triggers, unless you want to fill around with the numbers, maybe run 3 heals. It's up to you. But Dreaming Dragon just recycles your drop, so you're guarding and you're soul blasting, and then you build up a soul, and then you stride, soul blast 15. At the end of the turn, you shuffle it all back in, which allows you to, if you've got a lot of triggers in soul, you can push them back into deck, more chances to heal, and then you draw a card as well off this, so you're not really losing anything defensively, and it's a stand, so it's really good on the Amaruda turn if you've not got a lot of taros in soul, because you can swing with your rear guards, and then if you've got the soul to use the Amaruda turn, you can restand the other unit that's not got the power, and then when you stand the one that's got the power, it's balancing the sides basically a little bit by doing it, having extra stands. So you want to go quite aggressive with the deck, just to make it make your opponent be forced to guard, because you've got quite a powerful win con. Unfortunately, there isn't a whole lot of flexibility in the deck in terms of prolonging the game and attacking your opponent's rear guards. You want to be kind of swinging at the face all the time, just to force them to guard, and then to force them to respond. They will often then attack into your rear guards, because your rear guards are what's going to restand and what's going to be the main aggressive side of your deck. So just want to push hard and like I say, if you go and check out Fat Tony Gaming, he's got some games up where he's playing the deck. He plays it really well. There's another guy that he plays with, I've seen that piloted the deck, who I feel made some slight misplays in just decision making, but he played it really well as well, and the deck's just that good that you'll see. So go check them out, and if you like what you've seen today, like, comment, subscribe, give me some feedback if you've got any, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers.